So my therapist left me, just like my dad. So currently picking up flea medication because my kitty is nasty. Her name's Clementine, so little nasty baby child animal, little. It's not her fault. She doesn't even know what's happening. She has absolutely zero idea that she even exists. So time for a sweetie snack. My friend G, she calls anything that is remotely sweet, whether it's like a drink or like a little snack, she calls them sweetie snacks. And I can't stop saying it. So we're gonna go get a sweetie snack. So first sweetie snack, and then we'll talk about mental health issues. The usual on my channel. Everyone in this parking lot needs to know that I'm cooler than them. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. Sorry. But Akram! People could watch me. I don't care. I don't care. I'm moving soon, bitches! So I won't see any of you. I digress. Oh my god, this is giving me old school vibes. I like kind of black out when I make videos. Is this a wintry like background? I hope so. GT, George Thomas, you have outdone yourself. That is an amazing sweetie snack. Sorry, it just came up, but that's not your fault, GT, that's mine.
Your fat ass gets stuck in a chimney with an active fire. Get fucked. Got cunt 19 for Christmas. Thanks, Santa.
Okie dokie artichokes. Hello everyone. So a few months ago, I made a video about me having OCD, how I got diagnosed with OCD and how it's been like heavily affecting my life, and just kind of gave you guys all a little update. And I did it in the car, so I felt like it was appropriate to do it in the car. Also, way too many people are at my house for Christmas and I have no privacy. I wanted to give an update for the people who were curious, who are wondering. I also wanted to talk about my experience with therapy, having a psychiatrist, having a psychologist, and medication. Because that was one of the things that when I made that video, I was not on meds. And I love being a bitch. You can be like, I need to take my meds. Ugh. I don't hear enough people talking about medication, taking medication for mental illness. Obviously people make jokes about antidepressants, but I do want to get into like the nitty fucking gritty, because my only resource that I had when I was starting medication was to literally go on Reddit and read the forums about the medication that I was taking, which was the worst thing possible because Reddit is the 11th circle of hell. I don't know how many circles of hell there are. I don't know what the saying is. But it is. It's the 11th circle. That website made me so paranoid and made me way more stressed than I needed to be. So I'm here to kind of talk about my experience. Everything that I'm talking about is obviously my experience. Yours will not be exactly the same because we're different people. Duh, oh my god. Let's get into it. I knew that I was struggling a lot with my mental health, at least basically all my life, but you don't know that something's wrong with you. Especially when you deal with so many things, you're just kind of like, oh, this is how I am, this is the way that I live. So like, I wasn't sitting here being like, oh, this action that I am doing right now, this is a sign of OCD, because it was just like, no, that's just something that I do. I didn't think me getting petrified and getting severe stomach aches and like sprinting for dear life every single time that the doorbell rang, I didn't know that was a sign of PTSD. I just thought that was just a cute little quirk that I had, you know? So I didn't think much of it. To be fully transparent, I had a lot of situations happen within the last year that caused me an increased amount of anxiety and stress, which like kind of just made all my mental health problems much, much worse, exasperated. I hate using that word because I always say it a little bit wrong. COVID happened. My mom got diagnosed with 2 cancers. I was facing severe paranoia about like world circumstances. Other people in my family got sick. It just like was one after another, after another, after another. And eventually it led to a point where people in my life were like, Nicole, this is really eating you alive. And this is basically making you into a person that you are not like anymore. But I didn't recognize that because it was so gradual. Found a therapist and I got diagnosed. OCD, PTSD, anxiety, depression, and PMDD. I forget about her. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. She's a bitch. Which is a lot, but they all like coincide with one another. They're all like comorbid, whatever. Basically, it got really bad after I got diagnosed with OCD because I couldn't stop obsessing over the fact that I had OCD, and I was like, oh my god, my life is a lie. Everything needs to change. Like, every single thing that I do in my day-to-day life is not me as a person. This is all like rooted in my OCD. This is terrible. And I tried to do everything possible to like fix myself suddenly. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make things better. I'm gonna take a month-long break, which was in August, where I took a break from YouTube, and I explained that in the past video. And I was like, I'm gonna work on myself. I am going to exercise. I'm gonna go to yoga. I'm gonna go to therapy. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna journal. I'm gonna do all these healthy things for myself. I'm gonna like heal my body from the inside out. I'm gonna go to all my doctor's appointments. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to be doing. And it worked. Like, it helped, obviously. Like, those things do help and they do benefit you. But I hated myself because I was like, it's still not good enough. I am not benefiting enough. And basically I said in the last video, like, I am just on the road to basically becoming more like myself. I am on the road to feeling better. I'm on the road to doing better. Like, this is like mental health. Mental health is not like linear. It's like crazy, you know? She's like a scatter graph. She's wild. And when I started therapy, mind you, I told myself I don't really want to try medication, but then I didn't realize how bad my symptoms actually were. I didn't realize how intense my OCD actually was. Every single night I went to bed and I was like, tomorrow it's gonna be better. Tomorrow I'm gonna feel better. Tomorrow I'm gonna do the right thing. And then the same thing would happen. I would wake up in the morning and I wouldn't be able to get out of bed until noon, and I couldn't do my day without following my routines. I was never satisfied. I would go to sleep every single night unsatisfied and disappointed in myself and feeling guilty for simply not existing in the manner that I should be. Just pure disappointment. Disappointment in my YouTube channel. I felt like I was like failing people. I felt like I was failing myself. I felt like I was failing my manager. Like, I was like, I promise I'll get a video out. And then like I would have these OCD episodes and these depressive episodes and I wouldn't be able to get out of bed, and like just feeling so shitty about myself. It got to a point where I was like, all right, I suppose I will see a psychiatrist and get on medication. Ugh. If you live in America, then you know how incredibly hard that even is. There's such a mental health crisis that availabilities for therapists and psychiatrists, it's months out. You rarely ever get immediate help or treatment. If you didn't know, psychiatrists can prescribe you medication. And I was scared shitless. I was like, I don't even know this man. I didn't even get to select him. I've heard countless amount of people tell me that, oh, psychiatrists don't care about you. Psychiatrists only care about money and prescribing you medication, and they don't care about your feelings, and it's like in and out, they don't listen to you. So I was very scared. And little to my surprise, my psychiatrist was amazing. I love that man. I would kiss him on his little nose if I could. He knows about my YouTube channel. Hi. I don't think he's looking at it. Oh my God, this guy saved my life. Like, this guy literally has helped me beyond belief. Like, I want to kiss him. I won't. No, that was a mistake. Why did I do that? I sit down with this man. I tell him all about my little feelings. I literally write it down in a to-do list. Yeah, like just a very long list of my symptoms. And he was like, oh my, list making. I see that you like that. He was the one who also diagnosed me with PTSD. I was like, oh my God, me? PTSD? Wow, crazy. And it was very validating. Like, of course, hearing a therapist say like, you have OCD, like, great, that's confirming. Like, someone believes you and can diagnose you, but then to have another doctor reconfirm that makes you feel like you're heard and like not crazy, because like you can't control what's happening to your little noggin. One of the most incredible things that he actually gave me the option of doing was actually getting a choice of what medication I'm taking. I don't know if that is like common, but when I go to any of my other doctors, that is not something that I can do. He essentially told me like, okay, we can either treat all of your symptoms, all of your issues, including your physical issues, migraines, fibromyalgia, IBS. It can be a medication that helps you with everything, or we could do a medication that helps with the mood side of things and not so much with the physical side of things. And I said, I want to take care of it all. I will reiterate this. My experience is just my experience. My experience with medication will not be the same experience as you with medication, because we are two different people with two different bodies. What I may be able to tolerate, you maybe cannot. Vice versa. Essentially, I was prescribed with clomipramine, and I was told that this medication is like, it can really, really fucking help, but it's a hard-ass drug. It's called like a TCA instead of an SSRI, but tricyclic glyceride, I don't know. I knew some of the onset symptoms were gonna be tough, and I was reading too much Reddit. First of all, it was hard as hell to even get this medication because it was like $1,000, and my insurance was like, we don't wanna give you that. I ended up having to use a coupon, and I paid $44 for a month's supply. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. The system's fucked, okay? I started this medication back at the end of September. When I tell you I don't remember my entire month of October, I mean it. I don't really like to talk about it because I realize it's like out of my control and completely because of like my medication issues and stuff. I don't remember like anything from my October. The only way that I can remember is like going into my phone and like looking up photos of what I did. What videos did I post in October? I have no idea. I have no clue. The onset symptoms were really, really, really tough. I was getting very sick. I was feeling very nauseous. Throwing up is one of my biggest fears. It was supposed to increase my appetite. It actually decreased my appetite altogether, and there was weeks where I was just not eating. I just felt sick a lot. I was just really, really sick, and I always felt like I was in a haze or like in a cloud. I did not feel like myself at all. Like it was like I had a filter over me, and it wasn't one of those cute filters. It was a bad filter. I would drive somewhere and then I wouldn't remember how I would get there. I remember I watched the entire 3 seasons of Sex Education within this time, so I will forever associate Sex Education with clomipramine. I remember calling my doctor while I was like on all fours on the ground and being like, I need to wean off this medication ASAP. Please give me instructions. And that's how I got off of clomipramine. And it made me sad because I really wanted it to work. After that, I was like, I don't want to try any other medication for a while. However, on clomipramine, I did notice I had like 0 anxiety symptoms. I got off of that and my mind started to get more clear as I weaned off of it. I stopped having that intense filter once I was able to get off. I went back to my psychiatrist and we decided that we were going to try another medication because clomipramine is pretty fucking tough. And we decided to go with an SSRI that works for all of my issues, the anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, and the, you know, PMDD. I always forget her. And I was open to it. And he was like, your side effects will not be as intense. Like I was getting weird side effects on the other one. My skin was very, very itchy. Dry mouth constantly. I don't remember everything, but there were some very big ones. I'm gonna get a little tiny bit graphic here, but it's important, it's key that you tell your doctor if you have these kinds of issues. Essentially, he knows that I have IBS. And we kind of figured out that my IBS may actually be because of my anxiety and not all these food sensitivities that I was told by other doctors that I may have. And, you know, he's like, well, these medications may make you constipated and these medications may make you have diarrhea. What do you want? And since I have IBS that gives you diarrhea, here's a medication that will make you constipated and it's amazing! I haven't shit myself in so... Okay, I never like shit myself. I've been so good. I am never bloated anymore. I don't remember the last time I had a stomachache. Like, it's... The medication's called Paxil. So we slowly increased my dose and I had amazing results with it. No filter, no side effects like at all. Like sometimes I'll get dry mouth, like sometimes. Starting the medication, really fucking tough. I didn't see like any improvement and I was like, great, it's just like the last one. And then it was like overnight, it just started to work. And I was like, you're kidding. So for the first time in my life, I could wake up and be excited for life. Like actually be excited and happy that I am alive and just excited to live my little day. And it makes me want to cry thinking about it because I don't remember the last time that I felt like this. Like maybe when I was little. I started to get back into my hobbies. I started to like become the person I was when I was the happiest. I started getting my work done. I started making videos that I love. I started hanging out with my friends more. And if I had a bad day, instead of like me getting into a depressive episode for like 2 weeks, I was able to turn my day around and I'm like, let's fucking wake up and like, let's go get a tattoo with my best friend. That may seem like such a small thing, but when I tell you I was fully incapable of doing that for like the last few months, I mean it. It's incredible what this medication has done for me. In this time, I've been able to ask for help with work. I've been able to stand up for myself more. I still have memory issues, but we're working on that. I should probably buy omega-3 soon. Maybe I'll go back into Wegmans. Hello, do you have vegan omega-3s to help me with my little memory? I have not had an argument with my family in literal months. I have no irritability. I have no fucking anxiety. I'm able to do things that once gave me severe intense anxiety. My PTSD is so immensely better. I don't panic when the house phone rings. I don't panic when the doorbell rings. I'm not scared to leave my house anymore because someone's gonna hurt me. I don't sit there and have to do my night routine in order to be okay. I don't sneak out of the house anymore to do my compulsions that were really, really bad the last year. I'm able to go to the doctors and not have such intense paranoia where I sob to the doctor. I'm able to like self-soothe myself and calm myself down. It's just so freeing. and I'm becoming a version that I really like of myself. However, the thing with like my relationships and my family members, that has been massive. I love my family incredibly. My family and I are great, but there's always been an issue, and the main root of it was my irritability and my anxiety getting in the way of things and ruining relationships. I've made new friends. That's crazy. I've been able to go out with said new friends. And one of the biggest things that I've been able to do since getting on medication was making the decision that I wanted to move and then actually acting upon it. And I'm viewing a place tomorrow. So the point is, sometimes mental health can get so fucking intense and tough, and it's okay to outsource and ask for further help. Like, you are not weak for that. I'll give you a situation where this really helped reaffirm that. In case anyone didn't know, I've mentioned it in my videos in the past, but it was just like a passing joke, but I didn't realize how intense of an obsession it really was. I don't like to talk about like my OCD obsessions too much. One of my most intense obsessions that I had in 2020 was nuclear war. I would have these extremely vivid night terrors, and I remember one time I was with all of my friends at an ice skating rink, but what is not seen is me in the corner with my boyfriend sobbing to him because I was so scared that we were going to enter World War III and that we were going to get nuked. And no one could understand why Nicole is sobbing at an ice skating rink. It just like happened. Essentially, I just had such intense paranoia of the world ending and me dying. Eventually, that obsession died down and I went on to the next, because that's how OCD kind of works. But those obsessions can still be triggered. The other night, I watched the movie Don't Look Up, and it's an amazing movie. I don't recommend it if you have a lot of anxiety about that kind of stuff, like me, because I know if I saw that last year when I was in a really bad place, that would not have been good. But I didn't really know what it was about, to be honest, until the movie started. And I decided to read tweets about it after the movie was done, and a lot of people said that they had intense anxiety and paranoia, especially because of the ending. It was at that moment that I got really emotional because I realized that I had no anxiety because of that movie. But the reason that it made me emotional was because, first of all, it showed that I made such intense progress and that this medication's fucking working, that I was able to watch a movie about one of my biggest triggers and I was okay, and I didn't have an anxiety attack, you know, I didn't go spiraling, and I didn't have obsessions about it, and I'm perfectly fine. I went to sleep just fine. Like, it was okay. But if I was shown that movie last year, especially at the peak of my OCD, I genuinely think that it would have brought me to be very suicidal. I realized in that moment that I needed to be more kind to myself and give myself more forgiveness, because I tried really fucking hard for a long time to be better and do all these things that are supposed to help me and make me feel better, and doing yoga and going to meditation and going to therapy and doing all these things. And while they helped, they weren't enough, and that's not my fault. And I needed to get on medication to be in a good space in my life, and I'm so grateful that I did. And I needed to stop being so fucking mean, and it made me like forgive myself almost and be like, Nicole, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you weren't getting better. You just needed more help, and that's okay. You might be asking yourself, Nicole, how does this all come back to your therapist leaving you? Well, a couple weeks ago, I had my last session with my therapist ever, and that's because she got a new job. So she left. I get it, whatever, good for her. I really did like my therapist, but I didn't connect with her as much as I hoped I would. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy that we didn't, because I realized that meant that I took a bigger initiative to help myself and not rely on her as much. She kind of provided me with the tools to help myself, and then I just like put it into action. And at our final meeting, we just kind of talked about all these good, new, positive things in my life. My medication's working amazingly. I made new friends. I'm planning on moving. I figured out where I want to move. I'm like taking action with the steps to move. I'm getting back into my hobbies. My family and I are getting along better. All my relationships are getting better. Like, work is getting better. I'm outsourcing for help. Like, all these things were all because I took that initiative to help myself. Therapy and medication. And it was really cool to see like how much progress I made from our first meeting with her to my last. And the fact that we were both able to agree like, I will be okay without therapy for a little bit. I still am gonna look for a therapist in like the new area that I'm moving to, but the wait list is definitely gonna be long. I'm looking for different forms of therapy, you know. But the fact that like in the summer, if I was cut off from having a therapist, I probably wouldn't have been okay. And to now, where I'm chilling, It's a very good feeling. And I'm just really happy for myself. I'm very proud and very full circle. I truly believe that 2020 was a huge year for like my career, for YouTube, for taking care of my family, for like really fucking hustling and like just being like grind so that everyone in your life can be good, so that your mom can be good, so that your mom can get better, so that you can set yourself up for success. YouTube. And then 2021 was more about a year of like self-discovery, finding ourselves, healing ourselves from hustling for a whole year. I'm really excited for what 2022 is gonna bring. I don't know essentially what it's gonna bring, but I'm very excited for it. And I'm excited to just be happy and new beginnings. And thank you for sticking around me through the good and the bad times. It genuinely means a fucking lot that people still watch my videos. I went through some of the worst months of my life and I was like, I'm gonna lose everything. And the fact that I still see some of you guys in the comments from like years ago, I'm like, yeah. Thank you for being the most supportive community ever. I have the best job in the entire world. The fact that I was able to figure out myself and my life and my health and also have this YouTube channel and like maintain all of that, I'm so privileged and lucky, and I could not be more fucking grateful. I'm gonna like spoon my eyeballs out. This was fun. This was a good talk. Anyway, my therapist left me, and I'm gonna be okay. And you are too! Do what is best for your mental health, and don't be fucking ashamed for asking for help, duh. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please make sure that you leave it a like, because it helps me out so much. Also, leave a comment. Our comment section is so extremely supportive, so go leave one. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also, make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. If you want to follow me on my other social media, like Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify, because it's a lot of fun there, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty. I'm gonna go now. I have to go give my cat flea medication. I love you. Goodbye.